Hello, my name is Eric, and in this episode, I want to talk about my experience, one of my experiences, I should say, with police brutality. Welcome to the craziness that lives inside my head. The year is 1977, or maybe 1976, around there. During this time, New York City Transit has shut down all the bathrooms on the subways and the transit system. Okay? New York was in bankruptcy at the time, and I guess the city didn't have enough money to keep them clean, I guess. I think they said the reason why they shut them down is because there was a lot of gay men activities in these bathrooms, which were called the tea rooms. So, if you had to go to the bathroom, you had to go to a restaurant. Mind you, now we didn't have McDonald's and Burger King and all these fast food. Not in New York City. Not in the early early to mid '70s. Didn't have that. You had one or two, but you had a lot of restaurants, and a lot of restaurants and bars did not want people coming off the street and using their bathrooms. And what you had to do is buy a drink. If you go to a bar, you buy a drink, a cheap drink, just to use the bathroom. Same thing in the restaurants. You might buy something cheap just to use, the bathroom. All right. So now you got the idea. If you have to go to the bathroom and you on the subways, you're in a lot of trouble. So, it's one of these nights. I'm hanging out at the Strap down on 18th Street. As usual, nothing happens. And I decided before going home, let's see how my luck is on 42nd Street. Hop on a number 2 train, run up to 42nd Street. You cruise the area, and I got the same phenomenon. Again, I think you've heard me say this 1,000 times. When you're 300 and 400 pounds, your ability to get laid was very slim back then, unless you happen to run into a chubby chaser. So anyway, I'm on the number 2 train in Times Square, and you know what? I have to go to the bathroom. And once you pay your fare, there's no way in the world I was going to go. And then on 42nd Street in Times Square at that time, I don't know where you would go to the bathroom. The way you would go to the bathroom is if the little side street behind a dumpster or something. That's how you go into the bathroom. But you're down on the subways. And I looked around. It's what? 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday morning. It's pretty empty. So I go at the end of the subway, the end of the subway, before the train comes in, that little dark area. I go there and I take a leak. And lo and behold, who's on the other side of the subway platform watching me take a leak? A police officer. Okay. Well, you've been drinking all night and you got to go to the bathroom. You ain't worrying about no police officer. So I finished doing what I'm doing. By this time, I'm zipped up and everything. By this time, he's on my side of the train's, platform. And he says, "Hey, follow me." So I followed him all the way to the other end of the platform. And on that end, behind the platform, you had what they call a locker room. I guess it was the locker rooms for the employees who worked that station. So he took me in that locker room, police officer. He sat me down. Yeah, I'm going to give you a ticket for urinating on the tracks. I said, okay. And then I'm sitting there, right? I'm sitting right there like this, and he's standing there, and his crotch is right here. He was a tall guy, and his crotch was right here. And he said to me, if you suck my cock, I won't give you a ticket. And you know me, I mean, I haven't had sex in a while, and I've been looking for it all night. And I said, okay. But then I stopped and I looked at his face. He had pimple face. I mean, what they call him, puck face? Really puck face. He had this puck face. He wasn't a bad looking guy, but a puck face. He had a nice build. So he zipped his zipper down and he took it out. It was semi-hard. It wasn't hard yet. Semi-hard cock. And his cock had pimples on it. All over the place. I'm like, wow. I wasn't going to suck it, and I wasn't going to touch it. I never saw anything like it. His dick was puck face and pimple like his face. He had pucks and pimples all over the damn thing. And he said, go ahead, suck it. Go ahead. He kept saying, go ahead. Now, interesting, he didn't touch me anything. He just took it out. It was up to me to touch. I noticed that. It was up to me to touch it and grab it. And I didn't know what to think. And I'm thinking, well, not only is he going to give me a ticket for urinating, he'd probably give me a ticket for trying to suck his dick. So I didn't want to touch it. That came into my mind. I said, but the real reason why I didn't want to suck it is because it had pimples on it. I'm trying to think. It was pus coming out of them damn things. His face was puck face with pimples, and his dick was puck with pimples. And I said, no, I'm not sucking that. I told him, I'm not sucking that. So he said, okay. He put it back in his pants, and he wrote me out a ticket, a $50 ticket, loitering, urinating on the platform. And he left. Now, is that police brutality or isn't that police brutality? Back then I didn't think about such a thing. I told friends about it. They say, you should have done it. No, I wasn't going to do that. But I will tell you this, if it didn't have pimples on it and wasn't all puck face like his face, maybe I would have, but no. I didn't want to touch it. I didn't want to do it. Did I pay the $50 ticket? I'm quite sure I did. I had a lot of tickets back then, but I'm quite sure I did. Because if you didn't pay it, you got a notice in the mail. And I've gotten notice in the mail, a summons for my arrest for not paying tickets. Yes, I'm one of those people. And that's one of my stories. If you want to consider that police brutality, well, I was abused by a pimple-faced police officer who wanted me to suck his pimple cock. This is Eric, and thank you for listening to the craziness that lives inside my head.